Hello guys and welcome to episode 2 of building a game in Godot. So in this series we're going to build a very simple platformer and it's going to be amazing. So if you made it this far, congratulations, you didn't just give up on episode 1 and you should really give yourself a pat on the back. So we left off last episode talking about nodes and creating this beautiful tile map. So now we're going to start creating our main character. But before we do that, I want to tell you guys about 3 different nodes. And these 3 nodes are all body nodes. So the first one is static body, 2D. Make sure you do the 2D. You could accidentally do the 3D, which is the pink, red, I don't know. So first one is static body. The next one is kinematic body. And the last one is rigid body. Might be overwhelming to have all these 3 thrown at you, but let's take it a step back. Let's look at the icons. So the first icon is like a little square, the second icon is a little man running, and the third icon is a ball. So I think judging from the icons, you can kind of guess which one is going to be our main character. It is the kinematic body 2D. So, before I get into what they are, let's deal with these warnings that are in our face. So this node has no shape, so it can't collide or interact with other objects. Consider adding a collision shape 2D or collision polygon 2D as a child to define its shape. Okay, so it basically told us what to do. We need to add a collision. So it said either this one or this one. So if you want a basic shape, just add the collision shape. If you have a very complex structure that has many, what is that called? Like vertices, then yeah, you should use this collision polygon. We want a square, so we're gonna do that. As you can see, there's no more warning on the kinematic body, but there's a new warning on the collision shape 2D. A shape must be provided for collision shape 2D to function. Please create a shape resource for it. Okay, cool. So we're going to have to click this node, collision shape 2D, and we need to go to the shape property and create whatever shape you want. I would recommend just start with a rectangle right off the bat. You can see this is the collision. If any other bodies collide with it, it will collide with this area. Cool, no more warnings in our kinematic body 2D. So I'm going to do the same for the other 2 bodies. Cool. So if I go here, you'll see that all of them are stacked on top of each other. But I want to move them over here. So what happens if I just drag? You'll see that there's only one node here, the collision shape. The rigid body is back here. And that's a big no-no. We want to keep them together. So one way you can do that is you can come over here next to the lock icon. Make sure you click the parent. And this little icon is gonna group all the children. So now if I click the collision shape and I drag it, it goes up to the parent and it drags everything. So now we have the blue collision and the rigid body is in the same place. We're going to do that to the kinematic body and the static body. Perfect. And now we're going to put them here. Nice. And if we play the game, by the way, playing the game is this scene play button. It's best to use this one because if you have multiple scenes in here, this one won't work. So you need to use this one. So when I do that, you'll see that there is nothing here, and that is because the default camera is this purple bluish rectangle, and we want to have our own camera. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a camera 2D. Again, make sure to do the camera 2D, not the 3D one. Cool, so now we have this new pink rectangle, but if I play, it's still using the default camera. We need to actually tell it that this is our new default camera by clicking the node and coming into current, and now it is the current one. You still don't see the squares, and that is because we don't have a sprite for them, which we're gonna make it. But before we do that, I want to zoom in more. It's a bit too far out. So if I lower the zoom property on the camera, you'll see it gets smaller. I want something like that. And now it is just the way I like it. So in Sprite, I created normal boxes with letters on them. They're 16 by 16. If I press C, you could see the dimensions and you can add more if you want. I saved them as PNG here, and I'm going to make that, put it as their texture. So the way we do that is we're going to add another child to them, and that is the sprite. Do it for each one. So when you click on the sprite node, it has a texture property, and that's where we're going to drag our images into. So for the rigid body, I'm going to drag the R. For the sprite, for the kinematic body, I'm going to drag the K. And for the static body, I'm going to drag the S. So you might wonder, hey, how are your images not blurry without coming to the import? Well, the reason why they're not blurry is because I went into this project settings here, and let me undo what I did before. So when you come into here the first time, you won't have anything. By the way, it's general input, localization, autoload plugins, import defaults. We want to come here. And this is where you can make default variables for things that you import. So for instance, images, sounds, and whatnot. When you import a PNG from Sprite, it goes under the texture. And what we normally do is we uncheck this filter and then we re-import it, but we can have it unchecked by default. And that's what I recommend doing. And that saves, honestly, it saves a lot of time. Okay, cool. So now when I play the scene, we have our different bodies. But you might wonder, what the heck, why was that R falling? A, and B, why didn't it stop on our tile map? And that is because we need to add collisions to our tile map. So if we go to the tile map node, click it, click tile set. We did this last time. Click your tile over here, zoom into it. And what we did last time was we put the region, but we didn't add any collisions. So what we're going to do now is add collisions. So I'm going to click the middle one because it's the simplest shape, the most simple shape. It's just a normal square. So we're going to click on collisions, make sure this is clicked, and we're going to enable the snap so we can get the grid again. And we're going to click the square. We want the whole region, so the snap make sure that you click the whole grid. Cool, so now that one has a collision. And with the collision clicked, you can see which ones do and don't have the collisions. So for the next one, we don't want the whole thing to be a square. We have a more complex shape. So we're going to disable the snap options, and so it should be white. And we're going to click this polygon and try to click into it. You need to click it twice for that. Like if I click once, nothing shows, but when I click again, it shows. And when I right click, it undoes everything. I'm gonna click there. You don't have to get it right in the corner. I'll show you why. But just try to not click this one, and when you click the last one, it should all work. So yeah, you didn't have to get it all the way in the corner because we can just adjust it later. Nice. So I'm going to do the same one here. Make sure this is not checked. The polygon. Don't worry too much about getting it in the corners, but this is just disgusting. There we go. Now with collision, you could see all three of them have collisions. So I'm going to save it, and now when I run the scene, the rigid body stops because there is now a collision. You could see if you zoom in, I'm zooming in like this. You can see it kind of, there's like a bit of air under it. That's because the collision is not perfect. If you want to make it perfect, you can adjust it here. Doesn't really matter so much, but now there's no longer air under it. Cool. So right off the bat, you could see that the rigid body has physics applied to it. So yeah, generally, if you want an object that has a lot of physics, you're going to be using the rigid body. The kinematic body, it also has physics, but it has very minimal physics, just enough so you can control it, but not over the top where it gets out of control. So, yeah, static bodies, they generally stay in one place. So for instance, for objects like a tree or a rock, when something smashes into it, it'll generally stay in that place. And like I said, kinematic body, it has physics, but you need to apply the physics through code. But let me show you something very cool with the static body. Like I said, they normally stay in place. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. But they have very interesting property. They have this constant linear velocity. And for some of you, this might scare you, but don't worry, I'm gonna break it down. So, we all have seen this line graph. Is it called a line graph? Maybe. And generally what you learned is that the higher the x, the greater the value, right? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, -1, -2, and so on and so forth. So this direction is positive, and this direction is negative. Cool. And in school, you also learn that y gets bigger the more up you go, and it gets negative and smaller down you go. But in Godot, it's actually flipped. So when you go up, y gets more negative, and when you go down, y gets more positive. It's very weird. Don't worry, x is the same, right is positive, left is negative, but y is flipped. When we have these two x's and y's, it's about applying a force in a different direction. So let's see what happens if I give it a value of 10. Nothing happens to the static body. And that is because I told you that they normally stay in place. But what happens if I put an object on top of it? You see, the static body is applying the force to objects that are interacting with it. So this velocity is not being applied to the y, it's being applied to the r that's interacting with it. And like I said, positive x is to the right, negative x is to the left. So now the static body is going to apply it to the left. And I also said the more negative the y, the upper it goes. See what happens? It did a little bounce. Let's make it more dramatic. You see it's applying force up. We want to apply a force down. It falls into it. So cool, constant linear velocity. What if we do constant angular velocity? This is what it looks like. It did a crazy angular velocity. Cool. So honestly, if you want, you could I would really recommend messing around with these. Let's look a bit more into this rigid body. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the rigid body over here, and I'm going to do Control D. And I now have two rigid bodies. So this is the second one, and this is the first one. I'm going to flip them. And I'm going to add a control node to the second rigid body. And it's going to be label. And I told you this is for UI elements, but you can also add them to normal game objects. If I add the label, I just want to put a 2, so you know it's the second rigid body. I'm going to have to unglue them for a second, so I can move the label, and then glue it back together. So now we have two rigid bodies. And now it's cool that we have two because we can mess around with it. This is the default one with all the default values, and we can see what happens when we tamper with the second rigid body. So I'm going to add more gravity. Actually, that's a bit too dramatic. Let's just do double the gravity. and it is heavier. And if you remember last time, we had a linear velocity for this static body, constant linear velocity. And it didn't matter what I did to this static body linear velocity, it stayed the same. And it applied it to the rigid body. But if in the rigid body, if we have a constant linear velocity, it applies it to itself. So you can see it's going to the right. I can make it more dramatic. See? We want to make it up. We do negative y. Did a little, you couldn't catch it, but it did a little push upward. There we go. And so I'll leave these for you guys to play with. I just really want to show you torque. I think it's so cool. When I was researching these nodes more for this video, it blew me away. So if I add a little bit of torque and we observe this rigid body too, you see it's kind of turning in that direction. If I add 100, it turns more. But if I add 5,000, it turns so much that it's able to move itself. And I don't know, I think it's so cool because when you study these nodes, you truly unlock a big array of potential. Just me going over these, I thought of like a million game ideas, so I think it's cool for you to learn it yourself. So we didn't really do much to our game this episode, but I hope that it has opened your mind to these bodies. Next episode, we're gonna be attaching some code to this kinematic body. And yeah, we'll be able to manipulate it with physics, like I said, but not just enough so that we're able to control it the way we want to. So congratulations if you finished this episode. I hope you're learning. I hope you're enjoying. I'm having a lot of fun making these. And yeah, see you next time.